So I'm going to start by saying that I think sometimes God has a great sense of humor. The week before I was asked to give my testimony, we were talking about it at Life Group, and I shared, I don't think I have a great testimony or some grand story that I could bring people to Jesus. And a week later, I was asked to share my testimony. So here I am thinking, okay, I hear you, God. Um, so I was born and raised here in Noonan and was so blessed to be raised in a Christian family. I started attending SouthCrest when I was 9. That was back when the children's ministry was called Club 54, for those of you who remember it. I had grown up going to church with two amazing parents who set the best example of what being a Christian looked like. I was also blessed to have two sets of grandparents who set that same example for me. However, at that time, my faith was just more of my parents' faith. Pretty quickly, some incredible leaders in the church poured into me, making me realize I wanted my own personal relationship with Jesus. I asked Jesus into my heart in my childhood bedroom one night. No, I didn't have some obvious transformation from the outside looking in, but my walk with Jesus and transformation through Jesus started that day, and he has continued to work in my heart every day since. Jesus captured my heart at a young age and has walked with me through all stages of life ever since. I got involved with the worship team here at SouthCrest around 6th grade and was given some incredible opportunities to lead others in worship. What I didn't realize was how Jesus was working in me and through me in that experience. As I got older, there were many opportunities to make worldly decisions, ones in which I was tempted every day. The worship team became one of my biggest accountability partners, and I decided I could not be a different person off stage than I was on stage. Jesus used that opportunity to protect me from making decisions I would have regretted. And I now know that without him, I would have not been strong enough to resist all the temptation around me. To this day, I still struggle with the need for control as well as anxiety. If I could have every detail of my life planned out, I would. I struggled with thinking that if I would just work super hard, then everything would work out the way that it should. My senior year of high school, I got deferred from the college I just knew that I had to go to. All of my friends got in, and I just couldn't understand why God would do that to me. I was also in a stage of my life in which the devil would get in my head, and he would try to convince me that no guy would ever be interested in that church girl. It was a hard stage of life because my plan was not working. A few months later, I met Cody, my now husband, at a SouthCrest Life Group party for our siblings. And here we are 8 years later, and I've been married for 3. I ended up going to Sanford University, where I got to be a part of the campus worship team and an ensemble praise band where I grew in my relationship with the Lord like I never had before. I realize now that I was right where God wanted me. Don't get me wrong, life wasn't perfect, but I was slowly recognizing that I had to give complete control to God because his plan was truly the best. Another opportunity for growth came when Cody lost his job during COVID, a month after we got engaged. That wasn't my plan for sure. He was supposed to keep climbing the ladder, he was supposed to make lots of money, and we'd be happy, right? I was in occupational therapy school at that time, and we had absolutely no money. Again, I questioned God and his plan. Looking back once again, he knew best. That hard year made Cody change directions and become a teacher and coach, and now he's able to pour Jesus into kids and players every day. Now that was God's plan. Choosing Jesus at 9 years old led me to get involved in the church and kept me grounded in Jesus. There were people and leaders in my life along the way that I still look up to today, and sadly others that left me disappointed and hurt. This reminds me that we're all imperfect, even those within the church walls. But through it all, I had to keep choosing Jesus. I still struggle on a daily basis to give my life to Jesus with open hands and not hold on to certain parts myself. But Jesus continues to tug on my heart and be patient with me as I always fall short. I know my story isn't a typical testimony, and I'm just thankful that I met Jesus at such a young age. This church has a special place in my heart for helping me develop my relationship with Jesus. If you get anything out of my testimony today, get involved in a church. I have had Jesus poured into me since I was 9 here and was given opportunities to be a leader that held me accountable. I now attend a new married couples life group, and I am in awe of God's faithfulness. I look around the room, and it's a picture of God's provision in my life, to name a few. My sister and brother-in-law sit there who also met at SouthCrest leading worship together. Caleb and Lauren Warren, who have played a huge role in my life and faith. He was my youth pastor back in the day, became my worship pastor, married Cody and I, and him and Lauren spent a great deal of time doing our marriage counseling, and now they're our life group leaders. I also look around and see old and new friends who are doing life with us and pushing us to grow closer to Jesus. It's just such a sweet, sweet reminder that God's plan is best, and he can use his church and his people to help you grow in that relationship with him.